Forward with the current abilities, how would the battle turn out? Would Luffy and Akainu be an even match? Will Aokiji outclass Zoro in the battlefield, or will Sanji be fast enough to defeat Kizaru? Most importantly, how would the story turn out if these events took place? Well, that's what we're gonna try and find out in this incredible scenario. Firstly, to make this video even more interesting, I'm gonna bring along Loki to this battle as a Straw Hat crew member, since Luffy has already asked him to join the crew, which he declined, but still, there's a high possibility that we're looking at a new crewmate. But anyway, in this scenario, Marineford happens way later in the story. Firstly, Ace is not captured before the time skip and lives out pre-time skip, One Piece searching for Blackbeard, but he never finds him, so he eventually gives up the search for now and focuses on helping his papa Whitebeard become Pirate King. Meanwhile, Blackbeard starts to form his own crew. Everything else plays out the same as in the original story. He still eats the dark fruit and recruits every crewmate he has currently, apart from the ones he got from the Impel Down escape. The Strawhats still go on their training arc and the time skip still happens, but the only difference is that Luffy isn't feeling the loss of his brother because he is not dead. At least, not yet. Some time has passed, and Blackbeard is finally ready to initiate his plan of stealing the world's strongest man's devil fruit and become a Yonko in his own right. But to do so, he needs a few things to fall in his path. Firstly, he needs something to leverage against the world government to make him a warlord of the sea. So he plans to capture Ace. In this timeline, the warlord system is still up and running, with all warlords being the same with just one vacant spot like in the original story. Blackbeard's crew is a shadow of what it is in the actual series, because he never got the chance to recruit his other crewmates. But that doesn't mean they aren't strong. The time skip still happens, and they also go on a training arc learning hockey and all about the new world. Now let's go back to Blackbeard's plan. Since he needs to capture Ace in order to become a warlord, he begins taunting him once again by attacking some of the Whitebeard pirates' territories to get Ace to come after him. And Ace most definitely bites the bait. Ace tells Whitebeard and the Whitebeard pirates that he is going to hunt down Blackbeard and avenge their friend. Whitebeard in his old age does not have the strength to stop him, so he goes on the journey alone. Now much stronger because of the time skip. He ends up finding Blackbeard and his crew in Hachinosu. You may ask, why is Blackbeard in Hachinosu? Well, Blackbeard's journey still plays out the same as in the original story. The only difference is his crew isn't fully complete yet, and he is in a Yonko. King Ace at Hachinosu makes Blackbeard laugh hysterically, knowing his plan is working. Ace, being overconfident as he always has been, tries to launch an attack on Blackbeard alone, but this just backfires. Blackbeard counters and defeats Ace like in the original story, with his rare ability to nullify devil fruit users. Now that Blackbeard has captured Ace, he decides to hand him over to the government. In turn, they make him a warlord of the sea. But little do they know, Blackbeard is not just aiming for the warlord title. He wants to be an emperor. And what's the best way to become an emperor? It's by killing one and taking their place. So, as the news goes out that Ace got captured and is set for an execution, Whitebeard hears this and is enraged. As old as he is, he couldn't do enough to stop Ace from going out and searching for Blackbeard. So he decides he will go on his last ever battle and declare war on the government to save his son. Meanwhile, the Straw Hats just arrived in Elbaf and have been chilling with Skopper Gaban and Loki when they hear the news. Luffy is absolutely furious once hearing the news and immediately decides to attack Marineford to rescue his brother. Not like he hasn't declared war on the world government before, but this time it won't be the same. They are much stronger than before and have a special someone coming along. They leave Elbaf as fast as possible and take Loki along with them as a new crewmate. I don't know how he's gonna fit in the Sunny, but I think they will figure it out. As the Straw Hats head to Marineford, Yamato hears about the news of Ace's execution, and since I don't know if I should say he or she, but yeah, let's go with she. Since she has such a close bond with Ace, without question, she sails for Marineford, leaving Momo to take care of things in Wano. As she leaves the Wano country, she meets up with the Straw Hats while on the seas and joins them as they all head for Marineford. Luffy alerts all his allies and assembles his grand fleet. Bartolomeo is super excited that Luffy has finally called upon him and sets sail right away, raising the Straw Hats Jolly Roger with pride. News travels that Luffy's grand fleet is assembling, which prompts Whitebeard to send Luffy a message and asks him to team up for this audacious rescue. Luffy agrees, seeing as the Whitebeard pirates are Ace's family. Meanwhile, the government hear about this alliance and decide that they can't withstand an attack from two Yonkos just as they are, so they call upon CP0 and the Gods Knights because this is a war that could endanger the entire world government system and become a threat to Imu and the Celestial Dragons. But funny enough, Garling refuses to allow the whole world to see the Holy Knights just yet, so he tells Fleet Admiral Sengoku that the Holy Knights will only be deployed if Shanks, and the red hair pirates join the fray, which angers Sengoku. He tells Garling that if they don't use all the might they have, the government will be destroyed entirely. But Garling doesn't budge. If you're wondering why Sengoku is still the fleet admiral, well, in this timeline, he never retires. Akainu and Aokiji remain admirals, and the Yonkos at the moment are Luffy, Whitebeard, Shanks, and a vacant spot because of Big Mom's defeat, which is why Blackbeard is making his move. Obviously, Blackbeard has now become a warlord and is patiently waiting for the attack on Marineford to begin. Meanwhile, Shanks hears of this all-out war that's about to take place and sets sail for Marineford to at least try and stop the bloodshed. As the Straw Hat Grand Fleet and the Whitebeard Pirates Armada arrive at Marineford, the Navy is prepared with all their forces in the front lines staring down at the armada of ships. The Warlords, the Admirals, CP0, the Seraphin, Pacifistas, and the Navy officers all waiting for Luffy and his allies to attack. The energy is tense. Whitebeard in his sickly state walks to the front of the head ship with Luffy right next to it. He looks up at the enemy and shouts, "Ace, I'm coming to save you, my son, even if it has to kill me, so hold on, because every last one of these men will fight to the death for you." As he said this, the entire fleet roars in support and Ace gets emotional. Sengoku is tense. Akainu scoffs and Blackbeard is grinning at the sight of being so close to achieving everything that he needs to become a Yonko. Whitebeard stands in position and uses his devil fruit, causing the Navy forces to panic. A huge tsunami rises on its way to flood the island. Aokiji jumps in the air and freezes the entire tsunami, which impresses Whitebeard. Aokiji attacks Whitebeard with his partisan attack and freezes the entire ocean, but this is no problem for Whitebeard. He just uses his devil fruit and deflects the attack. Everyone just stares at this altercation, waiting for the order to charge. Luffy steps forward and shouts, "Let's go!" And the entire fleet charges towards the enemy. Yamato, Katakuri, the Wano Samurai, Loki, the Straw Hats, all ready for the fight. As they're running, Sengoku tells the Marines if any of them are committed to keeping peace, they will fight like it's their last day on Earth. And the two forces collide. Luffy, Zoro, Loki, and Sanji waste no time with the fodder and go straight for the three admirals and Sengoku, while the Warlords are occupied with the Whitebeard Pirates. CP0 is dealing with Katakuri, Yamato, and the Straw Hats. Sengoku and Loki clash, both using Conqueror's Haki coding, so their attacks send a huge wave of energy across the entire battlefield, splitting the sky. Sanji clashes with Kizaru, using his Diable Jinbe attack, while Kizaru blocks it with his own attack. Zoro tests Aokiji's strength, sending a huge slash towards Aokiji, but he blocks it with a Sword of Ice. And Luffy goes straight into Gear 4 Snakemint, zipping through the skies, and the two behemoths clash, with Akainu smiling menacingly because he finally gets to put the Son of Dragon in an early grave. Some other notable clashes are Yamato clashing with Lucci, Katakuri clashing with Kaku, Marco with Mihawk, Jinbe clashing with Smoker. As Whitebeard looks to the fight between Luffy and Akainu, he decides to interfere so that Luffy has a chance to go save Ace, so he swoops in telling Luffy to go save his brother. Akainu looks at Whitebeard with frustration, calling him a washed-up legend. Meanwhile, Luffy hurries to save Ace, moving past every Marine with relative ease, until he meets Garp at the top of the execution platform. Garp smiles and says, "Luffy, you're all grown up now, all big and strong." But Luffy just ignores this and tells his grandfather to step aside. He has to save Ace. Garp agrees with Luffy, but does not let him know this. His plan was to act like he's with the Marines, but deep down, he wants to save his boy. Luffy yells again, "Step aside, Grandpa!" But Garp tells Luffy that since he's now a Yonko, there's no need for him to pull any punches. He will go all out to test Luffy's strength. He then jumps up in the air and unleashes a glorious galaxy impact. Luffy counters with his own Red Rock, which sends shockwaves across the entire battlefield. Luffy wins the clash and knocks him down. He runs past Garp saying, "Sorry, Grandpa," and uses his Conqueror's Haki to knock out the two executioners. He grabs Ace's cuffs and breaks it using Haki, freeing his beloved brother. Ace is happy to see Luffy and tells him proudly he's become so strong. Luffy just grins, saying confidently, "I'm gonna be king of the pirates, I have to be." They escape together, knocking down Marines in the process. Meanwhile, Akainu is absolutely battering Whitebeard to the brink of death. He decides he's had enough of this fight and wants to end it right away. Ace looks on at Whitebeard. He's enraged seeing his papa so hurt, but Luffy holds Ace down, telling him they have to go. They can't save everyone. Meanwhile, Zoro is having trouble with Aokiji, who seems to have the upper hand. Aokiji and Zoro share blows, attack after attack. It's an intense battle that puts a dent in Zoro's stamina, but he realizes that he does not have to defeat Aokiji, only hold him off till it's time to escape with Ace, which he does. Sanji is no better with Kizaru. Matter of fact, Kizaru is absolutely tearing Sanji up. Light kick after light kick. Multiple barrages of light beams being thrown his way. All he can do do is dodge. He thinks to himself, saying, Luffy, hurry up, I can't hang on much longer. While Sanji is struggling with Kizaru, Loki is relishing at the fact of fighting an admiral. Sengoku goes into his Buddha form and Loki smiles vigorously. He swings his hammer so fast as they clash again and again and again. Sengoku thinks he's too old to fight Loki for a long time, but Loki is absolutely enjoying this. The battle ensues, both sides using all their might to conquer each other. But suddenly Luffy sends a huge Conqueror's Haki burst throughout the battlefield, knocking out all the weak-willed warriors. He tells his fleet that it's time to leave. Their mission is rescuing Ace, not winning a battle against the world government. Everyone agrees and use their last attacks to create space so they can escape. Luffy is still trying to hold Ace down while Akainu batters Whitebeard. Luffy is also enraged by this, but he knows this was what Whitebeard wanted. He uses Gear 5 to turn the ground into a bouncy floor so that all his allies can propel themselves to their ships. Garp laughs, seeing how strong Luffy has become. Luffy's Haki in his Gear 5 form is so strong that even Aimu feels it all the way in the Holy Land. He orders Garling to send the Holy Knights to end Luffy once and for all. The Gods Knights arrive. Everyone is shocked, seeing the absolute pinnacle of the world government's power. Shamrock looks at Luffy intensely. Luffy is confused. Is that Shanks? Has he betrayed the pirates to join the world government? But Shamrock tells Luffy to not compare him to his foolish brother, which surprises everyone in the battlefield. They all shout, Shanks has a brother! While this is happening, Blackbeard does exactly what he did in the original story, recruiting all his crewmates from Impel Down and coming back to the battlefield with huge confidence. He thinks it's finally time to take that pesky devil fruit of Whitebeard's. But Akainu is borderline about to kill this man. Ace finally gets away from Luffy's grip and charges for Akainu. Luffy tries to catch him, but it's too late. Akainu raises his magma fist, about to penetrate Ace's torso. Luffy tries using even more of Gear 5 speed to get close to Ace, but Shamrock comes and stops him with his Cerberus sword. As Ace is about to get turned into a donut, a man stands in front of him to take the blow. It's Whitebeard! He looks over at Ace and tells him to stay strong. Ace is emotional. Akainu pushes his fist even deeper, making Whitebeard cough out blood. In his last moment, Whitebeard yells, "There's nothing you government dogs can do. Nika is here. The end of your reign is here. And the One Piece is real." Everyone is shocked by Whitebeard's last proclamation before falling into Ace's arms. All the pirates roar in excitement as Whitebeard's final word sends hope into their hearts. Ace cries deeply at the sight of his papa's body on the brink of death. He looks at Akainu, who tells Ace he's next, and charges an attack. They clash, but Akainu is seemingly stronger. Blackbeard looks at Whitebeard's body and scrambles to do whatever it is he does to steal devil fruits. As Akainu fights Ace, Blackbeard steals Whitebeard's fruit and exercises its power, showing the entire world his ability to have 2 devil fruits. Shamrock is quite surprised, so are the Admirals, and Loki thinks to himself, that guy reminds me of Rocks. But as everyone is in awe, a certain someone arrives. It's none other than Shanks. He blocks Akainu's attack that would have killed Ace and tells him that fighting is pointless now. He looks at everyone and says, if anyone wants to carry on fighting, you will have to face the full force of the Red Hair Pirates. And since this is where the original Marineford War ends, so will this video.